Okay, so some things on hello. Some things that you try to list on Etsy are problematic. Hi, my friend. How are you? It's so good to see you. Um, and and on other sites too. Somebody else threw a thumbs up too. I love you. Thank you. But I'm gonna tell you an interesting story, and I had to be careful the way I titled it because of monetization with YouTube. It might find it problematic. But anyway, um, so I did a storage auction where I got a bunch, hundreds of collectors Playboys starting from like the 80s and a few other magazines like that. And so I thought, I'd look them up on the websites and stuff, and Etsy sells a lot of them, and they're getting okay money for them, at least getting them run out. Um, so, and you can't list them on a lot of other websites, but anyway, so I looked at some of the sellers' ads and stuff, and so I started listing them, and I figured how many could fit in a priority envelope so that they could get it quick. Because when you send stuff and it's media mail for written documentation, videos, all that kind of thing. Speaking of that, on Facebook Marketplace, they don't let you sell pets anymore. I guess it got too bad. Oh, yeah. I tried to sell a bow, a hunting bow, a real expensive one, and they took it off. They said it was against their policy. And so I donated it to Waterfront Mission in Fort Walton. And I went in one day and they had it up for sale in their special section of high dollar stuff and had it up there for like $40. And then the next time I went in a few days later, it was sold. And I was like, ugh. And I listed it for 30. Um, and it was a real nice high power one and stuff. There's a lot of people that will do that instead of use guns, but yeah, they don't let you list a lot of that stuff. But anyway, uh, I heard a friend of mine sells gun equipment on Marketplace. I don't know how he does it. But anyway, so uh, I decided, well, it'd be so much nicer if they could get it right away because the mail's so darn slow, and medium mail can go 4 to 6 weeks. So when I order stuff, man, I want it yesterday express. So I thought, I'll send it priority flat rate, and I figured I could fit two or three of them in one envelope, and and then sell them like that. And I did like probably 6 listings. And all of a sudden, after about a month, they were all removed and they refunded me my fees of 20 cents an ad, which goes for like 3 or 4 months. It's just 20 cents, and then they'll run it for 3 or 4 months for that 20 cents. So, uh, anyway, they went ahead and removed them and then credited me and like gave me a warning and and don't relist either and all that stuff, that it was not approved for their platform. And I'm like, man, there's all kinds of people selling them. So then I was looking at showgirl outfits to see what, other people are listing. And their prices are like 3 times the price of mine, and their stuff's not even handmade. And so I run across some interesting things. And I cannot believe that you can't sell collectors Playboy magazines, but if you have a way to go on Etsy right now, just search for bras or panties and tell me what you see. Because I don't know how that stuff is being listed at all. And I imagine kids can see that and probably purchase it. Um, because it blew my mind. Because there are literally people just showing like all their stuff, their skin, their family jewels, the whole game. Yeah, I've seen a lot of suggestive stuff. It's like beyond suggestive. I mean, I'm serious. Now, on my Playboys, I don't like open up pages like other people do and photograph them and all that kind of stuff and show them centerfold. I mean, they're selling dirty panties on Etsy, and they have all these pictures of the person wearing the panties. Um, and they have some really racy panties and bras with real people modeling it. That is unreal. Go look, I swear, go on Etsy and go look and look at bras or look at panties. And you will never believe the stuff that's on there. And they won't let me sell Hefner's Playboy magazine collector editions that I'm not even opening up. I'm just photographing the front and the back. And I mean, yeah, I could probably block stuff out and all that, maybe. I don't know. I kind of doubt it. And I wouldn't want to lose my account over that because if somebody reports you, if they falsely report you, they get banned from the platform because they will check the ad and they will look at it before they remove it or ban that person from the platform for a false report. Um, yeah, but you would never believe if you look on there the stuff you will see right off the top. You don't even have to scroll down too much because it'll be right there. And are kids able to purchase this? Are kids able to look through this? I mean, man, that's like free. You don't even have to buy a magazine because it's free and it looks very all the way live. Yeah, and they won't let me sell damn Playboy magazines. Those are collectors. Hefner is dead. And I got a whole bunch of them. I'd love to run out because people would really appreciate them. And uh, it's better than they're just sitting in boxes. And most of them getting rained on in storages and stuff. But, I mean, somebody collects that stuff and they really like it because the one unit I got had like 2 humongous plastic containers full of them, hundreds and hundreds of those magazines. And they're from the 80s. I had a boyfriend once, Ronald Fortier. He went to yard sales on Sunday mornings and Saturday mornings. And then after the yard sale, he'd stop at the local bar and have some toddies and show up about afternoon. And he would go out real early and go driving around the town just to see if there's any yard sales. And he came back and he said, "Wait till you see what I got." And I went out to the car and he had a ceramic fire plug with a plant in it that was about life size. And I'm like, oh my God. And he thought that was really nifty. Yeah. And then he got some other weird stuff and then he had stacks and stacks of magazines all the way up in the back seat of this Lincoln and in the trunk. And I'm like, what is all this? He's like, they're collectors' Playboy magazines. And I'm like, what? He said, yeah, I got this guy's like whole collection. And I'm like, yeah, probably because his wife didn't want him to have it. And and he says, no, look, there's some very famous ones in here and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, and then what are you going to do with them? Stick them in boxes? And I mean, he just had so many of them. He's like, I got a really good deal. And he paid like $100 for all of those. And it reminds me of when Ronald bought those things because when we split up and he went back to Massachusetts, he left them all with me. And so I was like giving them away and stuff at work, and I only kept the headliner ones, and the ones with famous people, and the rest I gave them all away to people, which they appreciated. But I just couldn't get rid of them quick enough. I mean, it's just too much junk to move around when you have like several hundred magazines, and they're heavy. But yeah, so here I am with a whole bunch of this stuff again, and I can't get rid of it. And I've got like 15 headliners I'm keeping, and I'll wrap those up carefully and all that so they can be, saved for several years. And but the rest I wanted to get rid of them. Also, what if they was selling the ones already worn? Geez, that isn't good. Oh no, that's a big thing. Worn pennies. That's a big deal. That is a money making big deal. And there's a lady that sells them on the internet on like her own website because most websites banned it. You couldn't sell them. They were trying to sell them on eBay and everything else, and they were banning it. And uh, but on Etsy they like send you pictures and the item. But this one lady, she's got gorgeous pictures, and I was researching it for a while, and she's got a real nice website, and I mean it lists all kinds of weirdo stuff, um, from all kinds of dirty pennies, and then how long they wear them. They're more expensive the longer they wear them, and then they ship them discreetly and all that stuff is this. And so I started researching around with the address and all that kind of stuff, and then found out that it was like an older lady, and maybe those pictures were her daughter or somebody else or herself when she was young, and it was an older lady that had some kind of little store where she sold stuff, knick-knacky stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this chick is making bank on the side, doing these used underwear stuff. And, and I was telling a doctor friend of mine, and he goes, I can do $100 in underwear. He said, just tell me where to sign up, damn straight. And I was like, oh my gosh. But oh yeah, it's a real big thing. It's just like used shoes. There's guys that come into clubs and they will pay a showgirl for her shoes right off her feet, and as many more as she can come up with. And she'll go up in her locker and grab all kinds of shoes that are broken and everything else, and they'll pay for them. They don't care if they're broken, used, new, whatever. And then they'll pay extra if they're wearing stockings or socks with them too. They'll pay extra for that. And then they're happy as heck, and they pay 80 to 100 for a pair of used showgirl shoes. And uh, and so that's a real big thing. There was a guy who used to come into Red Rose in Fort Walton, and boy, when he come in, like all the girls were hopping. They always made sure to have extra shoes in their locker. They never threw away a pair of broken shoes. And when this guy come in, man, he was paying 80 and 100 for shoes, and like $20, $40 extra for the stockings if they were wearing stockings or socks. And then he would, keep putting them in his car and all that. Now he might have been selling them on a website, or that just might have been his thing. I could see a guy trying to get rid of a girl and buy a bunch of used stuff or whatever and throw it in a closet or in the trunk of the car, and then the chick finds it, and then he goes, oh well, I got somebody else. I mean, I could see that real easy. But there are people that have fetishes, like foot fetishes and stuff, so it's really kind of funny. But they will pay dearly for all that. But yeah, I mean, there's some of these sites where they're like, used panties that are 4 weeks old, I'll wear them every day, and there's stuff like that on Etsy. But there's some that will actually send you pictures to go with the item of them in it and stuff. It is really funny. But that's one of the few sites that will let you sell them anymore. There was one other one that would let you sell them, and it was like Bonanza or something. a real off site. But yeah, if you don't want to buy a magazine, go on Etsy because you'll see everything you want to see, whether it's a girl or a guy, because it's there for free to look at. And it's just mind blowing, purely mind blowing. So I just don't know. But anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd roll it by you because I find it hard to believe that they would remove my collector's magazines. And they've got that other super racy stuff on there. That's not even fair. Yeah, yeah. I mean, if they're scared of stuff like now, they're trying to say, well, it should be labeled mature and all that kind of stuff. Well, that there's no restriction. I bet a kid can get on their phone and go on there and see all that stuff and purchase it all too. I can make a bet. Yep. I mean, so I don't see why the restriction or how they prevent, because there's a lot of repeated buyers on some of those ads. I've looked at them, and there's still people listing magazines like I did, and they're selling them like all day long, and I can't sell mine. So I don't know, but I definitely thought it was wild. But yeah, and guess what? We're getting ready to do a vlog. What? 12? See what I got? Ugh. Yeah. I haven't heard anything back yet. I haven't seen any emails from them. Those two came yesterday. And that will be another vlog. It ought to be interesting. Because they said that they were going to send an email for me to have a return label to send that unit back. And, it's like 14 days for the return time. And I got it, on the 28th or 29th. So we're getting close. Stuff needs to be taken care of. So I can still call corporate back. I may do that tomorrow again and see where we're at on the deal. So I got 2 people I've had to deal with on it, so I might be able to get one of those 2 remote workers. So, because I really think they're remote. But other than that, that's kind of about it. I just thought I'd drop by and see what you guys thought about this deal with Etsy. And see if any Etsy sellers come up and have anything to say, because I find it shocking. I really do. Etsy's starting to make sales now. It's been really dead for a couple months. It's not the greatest site in the world. I'd much rather be on Amazon and all that. I used to be on Amazon and eBay and a few others. I still have eBay, but eBay is oddly slow. I haven't tried it in, oh gosh, probably 6 months or a year to see if it's any better. Yeah, I bet you'd be glad to end the stress with that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it's just too much worrying. I've got other things to worry about than some stupidity. But like I've said before, I'm not the only one affected. There's a lot of people that are getting lied to about this so-called free stuff. But, it's like my mom told me when I was a kid, nothing is free. We went to a car dealership one time, and they said, if you test drive this car, we'll give you a free Mickey Mouse watch. So she had her 2 girls with her, and she went up there and went to go test drive the car. As a matter of fact, test drove 2 cars. And I said, okay, I want a Mickey Mouse watch, and could I possibly get 2, one for each of my girls? And they refused to make good on the deal, period. And it said, test drive and you get a free Mickey Mouse watch. And she said, that teaches you right there, nothing is for free. And I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, I guess there's always pretty much a catch to it in life. But it's real sad that people take advantage of you in that way. But apparently T-Mobile's having a lot of problems. They bought Sprint out, which was probably a good idea because Sprint was really problematic for years. I knew people had $1,000 phone bills on Sprint. It was just stupid. And so they bought that out, probably just to get the areas, the signal areas. But it's like they're just triple bad at what Sprint ever was. I mean, they're just scammy. So it's unfortunate, but it makes you wonder who's going to get it all. And it's like Verizon's got so much of it. They may just be the lead carrier. Well, there's a lot of people that keep appearing with new phone services and stuff. I don't know if however long they last, a lot of them don't make. One of the worst is like that Boost Mobile. And then also Cricket's pretty bad nowadays. Let me see if I can pull that up. Another Straight Talk brand, they will have one called Total Wireless. They already have Total Wireless. I've seen it. That's been around for a little bit. But it just depends on that state you're in, the city and the state. Because there's a lot of services that won't work in certain places. But T-Mobile seems to have got huge coverage, but they may be leasing too. Because they never had that much coverage before. I had T-Mobile before. Long time ago. Really liked their phones. Really great deals on phones. And the quality was top notch. The problem is it didn't have quantity. It only worked on the main streets, main expressways. And as soon as you drove like 2 blocks to the right, a sucker didn't want to work. That's a problem. It just hardly worked anywhere. But other than that, it's crystal clear. I mean, amazingly good service. But I switched out in the early 2000s and went to like Straight Talk. I had about 6 track phones and used to give them away because they were so expensive to run. And I'll give them away to people who couldn't afford them. I'm like, hey, here's one, you can have it. And you just buy a little bit of phone time on it, and it would have the rollover on it and everything. And but they ended up selling somehow to Walmart. I think the CEO of Straight Talk is rich. I think Carlos Slim is very wealthy. Probably because Straight Talk started with TrackPhone. And it's a Walmart type brand. Because you can only get the cards at Walmart or from Straight Talk themselves. And which is problematic. Because if the Walmart closes like they do now, you can't get a card. And then you pay about $10 more if you renew it online with a credit card, because that's their fee. So you suffer. But they do have some kind of good deals if you buy long-term service. If you buy, for 2 phone services, it's like $90. That's a good savings. And on the unlimited. And then they have some other longer term ones, like you could buy 6 months service or 3 months or a year for one line. That gives you a little bit of savings. It's not the greatest, but it gives you a little bit. But yeah, that Straight Talk, they used TrackPhone to start it, which I liked TrackPhone because you could relocate your phone as many times as you wanted after like the first or second year. You could then relocate your number and start it up wherever you happen to be traveling to. So I used to do that a lot, and then change it back and stuff. But yeah, they banked on that idea when they went to that unlimited plan. But now a lot of them are beating unlimited. T-Mobile has a really cheap unlimited, but T-Mobile, just didn't do anything for me. all the times that I had it. I had it for probably 5 or 6 years, and I loved their phones, but the service was just so crappy. I mean, it's really scary when you're, driving along and all of a sudden you don't have signal, you know, and you're traveling all across the states all the time, and all of a sudden you're like waiting for somebody to call you back or something, or you're getting ready to call somebody, and the phone has no signal. So yeah, but other than that, but I just thought I'd see what you guys thought, and maybe we can get some responses from some Etsy sellers about problems they're having with listing some things. So yeah, but I'm still working on these shoes that the girl ordered, and they take time because they have to dry, and setting all the stones on them. They're real pretty though. She wanted them for her birthday party like on 11, and it's like not happening. As a matter of fact, I think I've got 4 week wait on those on the ad, where I have up to 4 weeks to get them shipped. It just takes so long to do them, and I can't, just sit down and do them, boom, because they have to be done in sections so they dry, or it's a bad mess. And then I'll go in and retouch them and seal them, and then they got to really dry hard before I ship them. And then I'll ship them priority so they go fast and they don't end up being slammed around too much. So, yeah. But shoes like that are normally $500 and $600 a pair. She made out like bacon on that one because I could not get the 1 inch height ones. They're just way out of stock, and I didn't want to refund her money. So I was hoping that she wasn't using them for competition, like doing a bathing suit competition or weightlifting competition, because they have restrictions on the shoes you wear and how tall they are and all that. So she wasn't doing competition. She just wanted them. And um, so I offered her slightly taller heel and a 1/2 inch taller heel max, and then 1/4 to 3/4 inch taller front platform maximum as an upgrade free, and she went for it hook, line, and sinker. So that worked out great. I did lose some money on that, but it's okay. Um, I'd rather do that than refund her money, because it takes the same amount of time to do them, unless they're extremely tall or extremely big. Now those are size 10, so they're pretty big shoes, but it's okay. At least they're not like monster platforms, where they're like 8.5 inch heels and really tall front platforms and stuff. I restrict mine to 8.5 inch. I don't do any taller than 8.5 inch. Um, yeah. Although a lot of California girls like to wear those 1 foot tall ones and all that. I just don't do them. And a lot of them aren't very well made. They self destruct, so I wouldn't want to, have them pay a bunch of money to have them dipped or stoned, and they're going to self destruct in real short order. If it's a dancer shoe, it's only going to last 3 months anyway, maximum. So I just don't want them to break like the first week or two, because it makes you look like really bad. Because you can't guarantee the shoe because you didn't make it. So, but other than that, that's kind of about it. Yeah, that was the one we had. I was so happy when they did the 90 plan, because I was sharing the phone before that came out. Yeah, I don't know how people walk in those giant shoes. If they're the worst thing on the faces, or now they were real big in the 70s, and the pretty and elegant ones like this kind of look, they had them. They would come from Europe, and they were gorgeous shoes, and they were $200 a pair. But I mean, platforms you mostly wore underpants, because they were really so ugly, and guys didn't like them. Um, but the worst part with platforms is that it takes the walk out of the female. They kind of walk like they have a stick up their butt. It will make you look thinner because you're taller, but and if you put bell bottoms with it, it makes you look fantastic. But I used to wear really tall platforms for years. But they were like casual comforts. They didn't have the heel like these did and all that. And I think I only had one pair that looked like that. And then they started, selling them in the United States, looking like the European platforms. Um, and then the Orients, like you could go to Chinatown and buy these unreal platforms with big chunky heels that were huge tall, like foot tall and bigger for the Orientals, and they would buy those to dance in. And they couldn't even walk across the stage, they just kind of step. And they didn't do much of anything. Um, so unless they were doing like handstands and stuff like that, you know. But those shoes were really expensive in Chinatown. They were way over $200 in Chinatown. Beautiful, beautiful shoes. They just really weren't designed for dresses. Um, these are better with dresses, but the ones back in the '70s were not. They were big, clunky things, but they were stylish. I mean, you got them in wood most of the time. And then Casual Comfort came out with them in cork and covered with suede and stuff like that. And the only problem is that, if you walked in the rain, they got ruined. And then eventually the cork would break down, you know. And so, it would bulge out on the side or something like that. But the wood ones were so much better. But yeah, I used to jump rope in platforms. But yeah, uh, they've changed so much through the years, but they brought them back onto the stages. Um, and the showgirls started wearing them in the 90s, the early 90s. They started wearing them again. And it started appearing and appearing. And the bad part about them was that if you're a costume maker like me, you always got to bring shoes. And the other shoes were lighter because they were stripper heels. And, you had leather and then you had the fake leather and all that stuff. And then the beautiful thigh high boots with, gorgeous, sexy heels on them. And, you know, those were really great for girls with bad legs. You put a pair of thigh high boots on a showgirl that has crappy legs, um, and they just look fantastic. And but the problem with these platforms is it takes the walk out of the female. They don't know how to walk because a lot of these showgirls they come in and they got jeans on and tennis shoes and go, "Hey, I want a job," and they never walked in heels in their life. So you have to teach them how to walk, and it's the walk that's alluring. Then it's the outfit, and then it's the beauty. So when they put them in platforms, they lose the walk. And also, the guy gets the better show from the stage. Now that they have stages where you can sit around the stage, so the guy gets the better show in the taller shoe that you're in. But other than that, they just, you know, they need to sell insurance with them because they're horrible things. I've seen girls fall in them. I've seen girls, uh, you know, fall in them because the shoe broke. Um, the stages are different today. It's just real rare to see a parquet floor stage. They're all plexiglass now, and they're very slick. The shoes don't have any grip, and even if you put grippers on them, they still don't have that much grip. And if anything spilled on that stage, whether it be black girl's hair grease or a beverage, it's just you'll be skating. It's really dangerous, and stepping on money. When you're stepping on bills when they're throwing them all over the stage floor, which years ago was an insult. You had to put them on the rail. I don't know how people walk in those giant shoes. Ouch. Yeah. Then now they're stepping on dollar bills all over the stage floor, and it's really slippery. And you could do so much better in stripper heels instead of platforms. And they're hard on your feet. They're hard on your body. Hey, inspiration. Oh, God, what's going on? See what I'm making for a customer. I got 2 orders for November. Thank God I had none. Um, the last 2 months is really bad. Thank you for the thumbs up, Inspiration Nomad. I appreciate you so much. Good to see you. Oh yeah, it's very go-go fabric. I had a competitor costume maker years ago that went and bought all that go-go fabric, and I'm like, God, I can't even stand to look at it. It'd be so hard to sew it. And she says, oh, they just love it. And she used to write bad checks to buy bolts of the stuff and then sew it up as fast as possible so she could make the money and go deposit it in the bank. And I'm like, well, I hope I never have to do that, which I never have, thank God. I've always taken a portion of my sales and put it back for stock. Yes, I'm very glad myself to get some sales. I'm just on kind of a crappy website. One of my main websites I'm working on. Yeah, consistency is the key. But I mean, I have a ton of stock, a ton of retail stock ready to sell. That's one I made right there. I designed and made that. But I have tons of it, and I'm just trying to get it all listed and get it sold, cut down on these storages, and get some money in my pocket, and probably just relocate. Yeah. So yeah, I just don't know exactly. I don't have plans of exactly where I'm going to go. But I do love my work. I really, really do. I've done this for a lot of years, and I really love my work. So, and good word spreads nicely. And, it just takes one to be a little billboard and go, yeah, I got my shoes from Red. I don't know. I'm leaving it open. I'm leaving it open. I'm preferably no winters, you know. I'm kind of done. I worked in Memphis for a lot of years and put up with it, all that snow and ice and all that mess. And I just really don't like the cold. So, preferably no place with extreme winters and stuff like that. But I do love Florida. Title of the video: Fans Only Outfits, Fans Only Merchandise, for sure. For sure. Um, I did a sale a few months ago with the jewelry, but I need to do one with the costumes, do a live with selling the costumes and stuff. But, the costumes are not just for showgirls. I mean, there's people that buy them to go out in and stuff. Yeah, but you can get away from some of the nude tourists, the rude tourists. You know what the biggest problem is running in the clubs, which I've done for years. I've even had shops in the clubs. Is that girls that are from out of town and stuff that steal, and they'll steal right in front of your face. Oh God, it's such a nightmare. And the clubs don't want to really get involved in that. Some of them will, if you're real good friends with management and all that. They'll back you 100%. And that girl won't even get out of that club till they've gone through her bag, and they'll call every club around and let them know that she's a thief. But yeah, that's the worst part is what you lose when they steal. I mean, I had one girl who was so stupid. She stole like 4 pieces and then threw my tags in the trash can in the dressing room, the girl's dressing room. And it was like so obvious because I knew the pieces were missing after she looked at my stock. And uh, I went in the dressing room and I saw my big bright price tags because I use glow price tags, so they glow in the black light in the clubs when I have to run on the main floor and there's no light, so they're easy to read. And saw them right there in the trash can. So that's a nice place. Is that your office? Yes. Will I go somewhere by family? Well, I have a little bit of family kind of everywhere, but mostly California. But yeah, this is it's the back part of my office that I use for photographing with my mannequins and photographing my stock because the walls are all white. And then I do a lot of my YouTube live vlogs back here because of the sound. I think the sound is good. Um, it's just small because I've got stacks of stuff that has to be listed that I brought out of storage. That's all gowns laying there. And then I got my steamer down there for formal gowns, like for prom stuff. And Hey, BB, what's going on? Thank you. That's BB's Adventures out of the Tampa area of mid Florida. There's some cool friends of mine. They came up here to Destin. We did some vlogs together in Destin, had a blast. And then when my daughter and I went to the Tampa area, they invited us to hang out, and we had a really cool time. And they're super, super neat people. Her and her guy have a channel, BB's Adventures. They do a lot of different things on their channel too. It's kind of a variety channel. And now they're vlogging every day. Yay. So they're going at it steadily. And I love seeing it because their vlogs are super neat. Inspirational Nomads on here. And he is awesome. I saw BB's channel with DoorDash videos. Oh yeah, that was the first thing. Was their DoorDash? That's how I saw them on the internet. Was their DoorDash videos? Do I still BB and them? Yeah, they do like every day. They've had a couple serious car accidents, and she worked for the hospital, and he was kind of retired, and I don't think she's doing the hospital thing too much anymore, um, because of the due to the car accidents and stuff. But yeah, they DoorDash, and they hated it at first, and we talked about it a lot when they came to Destin. And I said, man, your DoorDash vlogs are rocking. And they're just too good, their DoorDash vlogs. And I did one vlog where they just absolutely hated it, didn't know how people made money, but they had just started the DoorDash there in the Tampa area. And there's kind of a trick to working at DoorDash if you've done it for any amount of time. And, uh, you know, so they tried it again recently and they're banging. I just got a quote for $300 per month for commercial car insurance needed for DoorDash. You know what? A lot of times the commercial insurance is way cheaper than regular insurance, but it's a good thing to carry it because DoorDash no longer insures us where they used to, and now they don't. And there's a thing on the internet about a lady with a white Jeep that was doing Uber, the Uber driving taxi thing, and got in a car wreck. And just because she had the app on her phone or something, they claimed that they bailed out because they couldn't tell if she was, running commercial or not, and so they refused to pay on an accident that she had. But yeah, DoorDash used to cover our insurance, and then they stopped. And then when they stopped that, then they were offering us medical insurance, but wanted us to pay. I don't know that being still worth it in a good market. Oh yeah, because I wouldn't take any order less than $10. But right now the fuel's so darn high, and I've got my 8-cylinder vehicle with me right now, which gets 9 miles to the gallon. So that's a little problematic. But yeah, BB and them, they have cars that are small engines, and they don't burn a whole lot of gas, and they know the area where they're at in the Tampa area very, very well. And so that's a plus. You know, how old is my car and how many miles? Oh, my car's a little aged, but I paid cash for it, and it was like second on a car, kind of. It was the kid's mother's car, and then he bought a brand new one for him and his wife, and he had another one, but he went ahead and decided to sell this one because the dealer wouldn't give him much. Oh, you bet my cars run good. I got my tools in the car. I'd rather carry tools than spare tires. I'm always turning wrench anytime there's a squeak or any noise. I'm a freak about my cars because I used to run 200,000 miles a year, every year, and most of my Cadillacs all went in the trash can. Um, 200K miles on mine, so I am just curious. Well, you drive a Jeep, though. The Jeep and Chrysler products don't have a really good reputation. Um, and they're horrible to work on. Wonder if it's an 8-track player. Dude, I wish it did. Man, all my 8 tracks were lost in the other storages. I love 8-track. That was the finest thing ever designed because they were nonstop playing, man. And then they went to cassette, and all you ever did was have a spaghetti mess of crap to pick up. And then they went to CD, and all CD players would overheat, and they didn't want to play. And then, um, they're coming back with records now. They're selling records in Walmart. Like LPs, vinyl, big, 12-inch records in Walmart, and they're pricey too. And they're selling old time little record players like you took to a slumber party in a little box. And reel to reel was even better because it would just go for hours and hours and hours. But yeah, but no, going back to BB's Adventures channel, her channel is incredible with the DoorDash vlogs. I think they've always done very well with those vlogs. And I would tell them, man, you guys need to DoorDash a little bit here. And nah, we're not doing it. And I'm like, man, your vlogs are so good. I mean, they're just comical. They're just those two are characters, and they're like that in real life. Actually, in real life, he's a lot quieter than the vlogs. It's really weird. BB's the lively one in person, and BB's a character. I spent a lot of time with her when we went down to Tampa area. My daughter and I spent a lot of time talking to BB, and about a lot of different things. And she is a wonderfully interesting person. She's a very sensitive, loving person. She's 100% real. He gets real quiet, but I guess when he's on camera, he's just super live. He is funny as all hell. But they're great people, and they're very much like their vlogs. He just is quieter in person. That's a fact. Um, but super neat people. They really super neat people, and I'm glad to see them vlogging every day because they do very good work on their YouTube. Um, and Inspirational Nomad is awesome too. Um, uh, and he does a lot of interesting vlogs about RVs and different types of homesteads that you might be interested in the Florida areas and stuff. And he travels, from Jersey to Florida a lot. And he's very connected with his mother. He cares very much about his mother, so he spends a few months a year up there in Jersey to be with her. And I kind of think you need to move her to Florida. I think she would love it in Florida, and get away from that crappy weather. I think she'd absolutely love it. So he's always looking for a place. So in case his mom comes down, he has room for her and everything, a place or an RV or whatever. He just makes sure he has enough room. But yeah, I paid cash for my car, and it was mostly dealer serviced, and I hardly ever turn a wrench on it. It's one of the first cars I've ever owned that I hardly ever turn a wrench on. And I'm a Cadillac girl from way back. I've had 33 Cadillacs, about 12 Continentals, and a few other toys. And I only pay cash for my cars anymore. I was in the car business a lot of years, and it's just better if you can pay cash for your car and roll with it. I don't like payments. I'm not a payment and debt person, and I don't have bad credit. I just don't have any because I just pay stuff. So such is life, right? But I've been a very lucky one. They call me the original Lady Luck in my life. I bought houses, cars, and stuff on luck mostly. I bought a house one time without a dollar at one of the biggest houses in the town without a dollar to my name, and then I ended up with 27K a few days later that I won on a $60 bad check. It's pretty funny. If somebody demanded I write, I'm like, no, I'm not going to jail. They still have that check to this day. And that's pretty funny. Good friend of mine. He's like a brother to me. But we'll still talk about all that. It's pretty funny. But yeah, so I bought this particular vehicle. I'm used to always having two or more cars. So that way if one is having problems, I just get the other one, turn the key. But I bought this particular vehicle because I wanted something I could go fishing in and it wouldn't just destroy it. And and something that was beefy enough to tow, so I needed an 8 cylinder. And this one has the factory heavy duty hitch on it, so that's a nice plus. And it's just that the fuel economy is crappy on it. And with the gas getting higher all the time, I think we're looking at $5 a gallon pretty soon here. Um, it's going to be terrible. So, and I just don't have the money now to be buying another car. I mean, I could probably get one on payments on. I just don't like to do it. And I do like to have more than one car, but at the moment, I don't really have place to put another car. I could put, I rent a huge parking space at my office. So, and I have two big giant storages, and and then my office. And I mean, if I had another car, I could put it in my parking. The only problem is if I have customers, then that would take away from my parking. So I'm not really worrying about it right now. Right now, I'm worried about just making the bills and YouTubing as much as I can to make that money, and hope they pay me soon. This is like the second time I've been monetized, and um, trying to get all this stock sold for like pennies on the dollar and mark it down constantly, and to just try to get it moved. It's not making any money in storage, and I don't want to go out in the pandemic and work my work because of the pandemic right now. I think looking at another year or two playing that game, the pandemic game. So it needs to be moved now because it's my money. It's my wallet laying around here. And I mean, I wouldn't mind opening a couple retail stores, but I'm just not there yet. I've looked at a couple locations recently, but um, I'm just gonna try to get this stuff run out online and see if I can get it done. If not, once I get 90% of it listed and it doesn't move fast enough or whatever, I'm just gonna have to pack it up and do something different. So don't know. Don't know what the world has to offer in the future, but we'll sure see. So, Inspirational Nomad must have got done early with his vlog. I saw he was on there real early today, like 4 o'clock. So, my stuff says that it's busy 6 in the morning till 6 at night. But I'm going to tell you, if I do vlogs in that time, I hardly get anybody on. And a lot of my vlogs, my top priority vlogs are DoorDash, and second top priority is auto repair vlogs that I do. So, those people are watching the stuff in the daytime, especially DoorDash, and being bored, you can sit there and watch those vlogs and wait for orders, I guess. So, but anyway, I hope everybody's doing wonderfully today, and it's good to see you, BB. It's awesome you dropped by, and glad to see you, Inspirational Nomad, and Paranormal Gaming, Wayne, I think it is. As my friend. I was surprised that we haven't seen Roxanne tonight. And what I'm really surprised is how come Uberman Tampa is never on here. That's another interesting thought, but he might be doing some Uber and stuff. They're doing real good with their soap company. Really, really good. And they're working all the different events and stuff. So they had some iconic sales the other day, like $1,000 day, which is pretty sweet. I mean, that's not all profit, but a lot of it is. So I was really excited for them. They're trying something different. And the only problem is it Bath and Body. I do Bath and Body too, but it's the stuff you can't store it for long. It has to be sold right away. And like we're doing bath bombs and stuff like that, it's real problematic to humidity and moisture, especially when you make it, and then after storage. But the stuff goes bad. The scent fades out of it really quickly every day, and so it's not something you can make like 1,000 of them and then try to sell them. You only can do a little bit at a time. Now I can make it in my office or make it in one of the storages with no problem. It would be better to be made out in the storage because it throws dust all the time. when you're mixing it. But um, there's just so many people doing all that Bath and Body stuff, and uh, you know, it's a lot to wrap it up and put the legal, ingredients on it that are required by law. Especially if you try to sell them at a function or event, you're mandated by the city to have those things on there. And then the next step is to get it approved, by the boards and stuff. And then it's basically a legal item to sell. And then the insurance and liability insurance and all that stuff too, where some of those sites that you sell at, um, on site, that are beyond flea market, like in malls and stuff, for a 1 day event or something, they will require you to have that insurance and stuff too. So, yeah, I mean, I love making the stuff. It's really fun to make, but um, it just doesn't last long, and it's not something you make thousands of because it just goes bad. And then you just end up like giving the stuff away to people, and it costs money to buy all the supplies to do it with. I don't care if you're doing lipsticks or skin potions or bubble bath stuff or soap or perfumes or whatever it is you're doing. The stuff to make it with is really expensive, and but it's super fun to make it, and it's so pretty, and the smells are wonderful. But you can only use certain chemicals and smells, scents, and stuff that are safe on the body and stuff to use. A lot of people just mix anything, and you can't do that. You can't use certain dyes. You can't use certain scents, like candle scents. You can't use those in skin products. They're poisonous. So you have to be really careful. You have to really research well and understand the makeup of those things, because you'll get sued if you sell stuff like it's just like making e-cig juice. There's certain stuff you can't make it out of because people are inhaling it, and it would be poisonous and bad for their health. That's why a lot of that stuff comes from China is junk because it's got all this chemicals and junk in it that are not meant to be inhaled. So that's where a lot of the problems were with starting with the e-cig juices. That's why I made my own and developed my own e-cig company way back, and all my stuff, was so much healthier for the body than that crap coming from China. But anyway, I'm so glad you guys came by. Thank you for the thumbs up. There's 3 there. I love you guys. And I hate that Roxanne missed us, but it's probably a little bit early. Roxanne might be running that gaming thing that they do. Um, uh, I do. I forget what they call it. Roxanne has a channel too that does some wild stuff, but a lot of times that's in the nighttime that they do that one. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me. It's been a slice of heaven. I love you guys. I love you, BB, and your man. And you guys are just banging away on that channel. It's awesome. Vlog every day and get on that live. I love you guys. And as always, do something kind for a stranger. And too much of a good thing is wonderful. And make a new friend every day. And I'll be back on the next one. See you soon. Love you.